Hello, welcome to the show. This is Do All the Things. And on today's episode, solar panels. I think you know it. And I felt some crap fall off the solar panel as I lifted it up. It's a little bit dirty because it came from outside. So today I am embarking on a new video series that I call the 12 volt infrastructure. And it's not necessarily about solar, but it uses solar. It's this grand plan I've had for many, many years where I run 12 volt lines throughout my house to power low voltage devices, so that they don't have to sit on the power grid consuming standby current. Now, how far I will actually take this, I don't know, because I'm not sure how practical it's going to be, but right now, the goal is to charge batteries. You see, I have all sorts of batteries. I have 18 650 cells, 26 650 cells, 6. I got power tools that charge off batteries. I got camera batteries. I got AA's. I've got 9 volts that I use in my various little tinkering experiments and, you know, my meters and stuff. And all these, I gotta plug them into the wall, and whatever efficiency those chargers run at, well, that's what's being consumed. And they don't use a lot of power. It's not like they're fixed devices that have to be powered in real time, that have to be plugged into the power grid. You just use them once in a while. They pull, you know, a few amp hours and then that's it, they're done. So the story all started many years ago when you could finally start buying solar panels, you know, cheap used at the local tire shop. I got these guys, wired them together, and they're pieces of crap. I put them in a junk box, forgot about them till years later. When I took them out, put them on the shelf behind the camera over there, and I forgot about them. And then I saw them again one day. I'm like, hey, why don't I chuck these up in the window? There's one window at the side of my house that catches a lot of light. And surely I could charge up like this SLA battery here, some free energy and charge batteries off of it. Except these guys suck real bad. Maybe 150 milliamps of current at best. And even with that little battery hooked up all week, it didn't raise the voltage enough. So I started thinking bigger. I went on the Kijiji, I went on the marketplace, I went looking for solar panels, and then I found these. 50-watt panels. I got 3 of them for $75. Oh, it seemed like a steal of deal, except they're shot. Yeah, they're old and worn out. Buddy left them sitting on the ground there. I think water got in here. Rotted connections. This particular panel is dead. At some point, I'm gonna cut the cable off of it and toss the rest into the garbo. The other 2 work, but they don't give me 50 watts. They give me more like 15 watts total together under really bright light. The charge controller that came with them shot. Even with a good panel, it just keeps clicking on and off. I got ripped off, and of course this seller won't message me back, so I guess that's how he gets ahead in life. So things started escalating quickly. I started thinking even bigger. And so I went back on the Kijiji and I searched around and him and Hod for a while, and I ended up with these. Oh yeah, that's a unit. 135 watt, 20 volt panel, and I got 4 of them. This pupper can crank out 8 amps in good sunlight. And I tested it. Unlike those other shoddy crap, this guy actually works. I got 4 of them for $200. Even on the used market, they're $100 each. So I think karma made up for the loss I took on that other system, because if you factor the fact that I could probably take the 2 panels that I don't need, I only wanted 2 panels, flip them, get my money back, well, these panels were essentially free. But of course I'm gonna hoard the spare panels because you never know what I'm gonna get into next. The only catch is MC4 connectors are a pain in the arshid to release if you don't have the specialty tool, which the previous owner did not, so he cut the wires. I gotta put new connectors on them, but that is not a deal breaker, not for a guy like me. So that's the plan. I gotta take a couple of these 135 watt panels. I'm gonna end up with a 16 amp service. I'm gonna slap them onto the side of my house. The west side collects a lot of light between noon and sundown. And if I can charge up a battery quick enough, which I should be able to with 2 of these panels, I'll have enough power to charge up on batteries. And that's where I'm gonna start. So for this first video, I need to build a rack for these things to get them mounted up onto the wall. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to finish the installation because, oh, you're kinky like that, are you? I need to order connectors. And it's fall, so it's a great time to be starting a project like this. Hopefully I can get them up before the snow falls. I think so. It's just gonna get cold. Be a slightly chilly installation. But hey, let's head out to the shed. Oh, what a novel idea. Finally using my workshop shed for a project, literally. I've had no projects outside since I built this thing. They've all been indoor projects, but I digress. This is representative of 2 panels where I'm trying to figure out the spacing. You see, I have this, channel, stock, whatever you want to call it. It's half a cube and it's aluminum. And I do believe this will be load bearing enough because it might not look like it, but these things aren't very heavy. And I figure once I get them bolted flat to a wall, I don't have to worry about it too much. They can't be blown away if the wind can't get behind them, right? At least that's the philosophy. So I want these guys spaced apart far enough so I can fit a junction box in the middle with a little room to spare. How much room do you figure I need? That much room? Oh, that looks good. How many inches is that? Where's my inch determiner? Haha, my inch determiner. We have 6 and oddball. This thing's 5 inches. If we squeeze this down to 6, that should be good as long as our tolerances are reasonable. Yeah. How much total width do we have now? 58, just over a quarter. That's fine. I want about 3 inches on either side for mounting hardware. Oh, but then I was compensating for brick. You see, I'm gonna be mounting this into bricks, so I wanna make sure I get it in a sweet spot and like not in the seam between the bricks kind of thing. So whatever I measure up here, I gotta go confirm that it's not gonna get in the way. So we'll say 58 and a half plus 1, 2, 3 there, 61 and a half, 62 and a half, 63 and a half, 64 and a half. Maybe we'll just go to 64 inches. Now let's go take a peep at the brick. This is representative of what a typical wall in my house looks like. And if I go 64 inches, goes right there. So end to end, yeah, that should be causing us to pop a hole right in the middle of the brick, bud. Yeah, you know what? 64 inches should be good. Okay, so now I want to cut these bars at 64 inches. You know what? I'm gonna cut the side with the label off. Oh, I can't turn this around in here, can't. Oh boy, careful, bud. I frickin'. Oh. Beep, beep. 64 inches right there. Oh, we're some sort of scribing device. Up here. I'm only marginally prepared for this project. A 64. Ooh, right there. Might as well mark up the other one while we're at it. Got 2 8-foot sections here, and we're not gonna need all that. Kinda wish I could have done it with just one piece cut in half, but that just wasn't in the math. And of course, our battery for our cutter is inside. Isn't that beautiful? Shouldn't have to do this, but I'll square it off for good measure. All right, so now we're gonna take our circular saw, All right, so now we're gonna take our hacular saw, and that should chew right through there, bud. I have not cut a metal like this with this guy before. How well is it gonna work? Oh, it's gonna jump around all over the place. Isn't that wonderful? As you can see, I'm not wearing appropriate footwear for a project of this nature. Oh wow, that's loud, bud. Good enough. Trick is to kind of attack it at a bit of an angle to get a bite in there first, eh? Not for making precision cuts. I think I need a file to just, fix up on these ends here. But now we have roughly our rack. If we line it up end to end, square it out right there. Oh, I guess those are reasonable tolerances. Right, what's next? I don't know, I'm kind of figuring this out as I go along. What's next is some reinforcers. I don't know how to describe what these do. Once I cut them, you'll see. But I need 4 3-inch sections. All right, where'd I put my inch determiner? All right, 1 3-inch section, 2 3-inch section, 4 3-inch section, 12 3-inch section. Ha ha ha, as in 12 inches is 3 times 4. I think I got that math right. Is this even the right blade for this? I'm gonna try the EMT blade. That's one. That's two. Oh, this one's weeble wobbling. And one more. All right, we're done with the frickin' hacksaw for a hack job. A little bit of a trick to it, but seems to work well. Not too bad of a cut either. It'll do. I got all this spare. So the idea behind these guys is we clip them on right there like that. And this is going to be our mounting point where it bolts to the wall. This is going to reinforce it so that as we put torque of a screw through here, it doesn't just completely squish, collapse the channel. And then also, you know, it's going to give us just a little bit of relief from the wall. So this, you know, there'll be room for circulation back here. Except, you know, this needs a little bit of polish. What do I have for polishing, sir? Really? Really? A shotgun and a fly. Sandpaper? Let's try sandpaper. This is offensive. It's blowing the dust of previous projects everywhere. Okay, I don't like this anymore. Oh, it even got in my eye regardless of my spectacles. Do not use the sander in enclosed spaces. Let's try this power tool. Normally I'd use a file for something like this, and I have one in the house. I just don't feel like running in to get it. So improvising with the shed tools. This did the job well enough. Just want to take the rough out of the edges. It's this goes so well like that. That will go on something like that. Oh, I didn't take the rough out of these edges. Really not the best way to do it, but now what I want to do is go slap these up on the wall and see how they're gonna look. Well, not too shabby. Get it roughly out of the brick there. I'm wondering what the internal of these bricks look like. Because, you know, bricks have cavities in them. What's better? To put the mount in the cavity or in the thick part? Fortunately, I believe these are reference samples of the original brick. There's just a few spare pieces been kicking around the yard since the beginning of time. We'll mark a cavity there, a cavity there, cavity there, cavity there. Oh, you're too far zoomed out to see what I'm doing, bud. Now if I slap this Slim Jim up there, what do we got? You know, I shouldn't have left the pencil far away. If I aim for a central cavity, we're looking about right here. Oi, oi, you stay right here. Okay, that's close enough, bud. That is, after all, lion's share of this process, determining where to punch the perforations. Now I'll officiate them in the annals of history with an actual punching. Now if we give them a squeezer together, we can square that line down to the second shaft. Righty-ho. At least aluminum's nice to work on, right? Now, I want to fasten these guys on so that they don't float away from me when I'm trying to install them. But I don't know if that's so fanciful that it needs marking. You can kind of just YOLO that one when we're ready to drill. So do I want to get into drilling now, or do I want to compare them to the panels first? Well, we got to rotate these. We have various mounting points on the hind end of this. I'm giving myself just enough room, eh? We must redetermine our clearances. What did I say the measurement was again? It's wonderful when you forget and don't write things down. You know what I need? Some form of clamping device to keep this where I want it to be. Oh, I might have to run into the house for that one. Being low on clamps is not fun. Well, as you can imagine, all the clamps that I own seem to be temporarily assigned to holding certain things together. I have these, you know, these guys, they should have just enough jam, in theory, to keep this in place where I need it. Well enough to do some measurements. Oh yeah, that works. It works weller than I expected. All right, let's get this thing centered up. Oh, look at that. 8 millimeters. Just under 8 millimeters. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna opt for some relief. 3 and 1 snoot. About 3.5, 7 mil. This is gonna be fun. Back and forth, hey bud. Oh, you know what? Let's clamp this here. Oh, fancy thinking, bud. All right, 3 inches. All right, they're even now. Check junction box clearance. Junction box clearance is good. Now let's mark where those holes are gonna go. All right. Now we're rolling with gas. It's gonna use our angle duplicator to copy those around back where they're relevant. And I don't know why I walk you through a process when I'm not a how-to. I am not an expert on solar. I say as my head peeps, just ever so slightly into frame. I guarantee you there's certain things I'm doing wrong that a man can get away with doing wrong when he is simply building for his own personal use on his own personal residence. But to instruct others to do things this way would be very much verboten. Mind you, there's not a lot of harm in slapping a rack together as long as it can bear the load that you are... I don't know how to finish that sentence. All right. Are we gonna drill these one by one, or are we gonna do the smart thing where we stick them together and punch them at the same time? That might be beyond my pay grade. Whatever. Oh, this one's way off, bud. Oh boy. That's not better. Compensate by making it way off in the other direction, and then it kind of averages out. Oh, that one's off too. Nice. Fortunately, there's some margin of adjustment in those guys. You know, they have these long slotted holes. I guess we're ready to start drilling. Illing and drilling. I got freaking blades everywhere, bud. Come on, let's put this away. All right, where to start? We might start by getting the reinforcer hers mounted up in there. So I want a couple of these slapped on here like this. I want to put a rivet hole in there. We can try kicking it old school with a drill. Oh, walk this way. Question is, will a 1/8 rivet fit through a 1/8 hole? Oh yeah, just. All right. Now that'll stay place during fabrication and installation, in which the rivet is on the bottom side. Nice! Now just allow me to do that 3 more times. You don't have to watch. All right, that's all done. Now we have some sexy mounts with a little bit of reinforcement. Gonna get clamped in there, up against the wall. Now I have to put holes in it. Proper holes, and to drill proper holes, I have brought out a more proper tool, in which I should have lots of power to operate. So, yes, a shed with power. It's great. So the holes in question to mount the panels to the rack, these are 5/16. Some imperial measurement, a step up from quarter, I think. And then to mount it to the wall, 1/4-inch lag bolts that will have these, these little inserts that go into the brick. Apparently these lag bolts are good for 200 pounds, so 2, 4, 6, 800 pounds of support, I'm sure we'll be fine. Part of me wonders if I should bolt it in center too. I only bought 4, so either way, I'm gonna grab myself a bit that doesn't look completely chowdered and pre-pilot the holes. Pro tip for storing your key. Just get one of those nice end-dime magnets and it doesn't run away from you. All right, so let's try this. Oh, that's a nice chip. I guess I sharpened that particular bit properly. Hey, let go of my thing. This one's a twofer. 1. Gee, why does it keep doing that? This makes no sense. Never had this problem before. Hey, I keep missing my mark on this one. Right there. Drilling with a drill press is so nice. One of those tools, I wonder how I lived without it. Oh, I just made crappy holes. So now we barely gotta bring these holes up to temperature, get them right size. The drill bit I have for a 5/8 looks really chowdered. That's not gonna do. Or no, 5/16, that's what it is. Well, I got my good old-fashioned cone bit here. We'll just kick it that school. All right, bud, give us some bigger holes. Wait, which step is 5/16? 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. Confirmed. Now what about the main mounting holes? Well, obviously that's gonna be a 1/4 inch, right? That should be like 1 step. Oh no. All right, what size bit do we need for this? I guess we're going 5/8 or 5/16 all around. We need just a step bigger than 1/4 inch because the threads exceed 1/4 inch. All right, that's all the holes drilled. I can put this guy away and clean up and do pre-fitting. So I'm kind of out of time for today, but I really quick. I was hoping to get more done. Need to get an earlier start. But I want to pre-fit these is what I want to do. The idea being bolt, drop bolt, attempt bolt again. I got to determine which one of these has the straightest holes because I want that to be the top bar, which I'm going to level the entire rig with. Oh, they're all crooked. Oh, I forgot to put in the crystals. Got a little washer back here. Oh, of course it's not going to stay. We'll drop another bolt for good measure and nut. Drop another bolt. Okay, now it comes together. All right. Now the problem is those are Imperial and I happen to be on the Rebel team using metric tools. Looks like a 13 mil should work though. Oh, hey, I have a 1/2 inch socket after all. 13 does work though. All right, let's spin them on there and see what happens. That's one rack in place. I gotta take this party downstairs. Be back in a moment. All right. Why are there only 3 of these in here? Oh, this pupper's all bolted up now. Oh, 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 oh. There's a little bit of flex, but once it's bolted to a brick wall, oh, get some exercise, bud. Oh, oh. This is gonna be tricky to mount up to a wall on my own. Indeed. But I'll get it done. I built that whole shed by scratch after all, didn't I? Oh yeah, flippin' sweet. We just, I didn't get the junction box mounted. That's, kind of forgot that while I was drilling holes. That's gonna go in the center here. Bunch of connectors on it. Yeah, yeah, frick yeah, bud. Oh boy. I need to start lifting again. I'm working more on cardio. But yeah, that's it for today. I gotta get running. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, stay tuned. Again, I'm not a solar expert. This isn't a how-to video. I'm figuring this out as I'm going along. But join me on the adventure while I put this together and get it working. Yeah. Maybe that's how I should end my videos. Idle animation.